Hi, and now welcome to the audio sessions for question 3 on planning and control for the Practitioner practice paper for DSTM's Agile Project Management Practitioner section of the course. And we are going to look at part A first of all, and this is worth 5 marks as you can see up in the corner here. So we have 5 questions to look at. Now, this is looking at risk as the first says using risk management. So flip to the chapter on risk if you wish. It might look at some of the responsibilities as well. So as I said right at the very beginning, there's going to be a bit of a crossover here in some areas. So firstly, as you notice, there's some information in the box here in bold. No reference to the scenario or other additional information, just the information at the top of the box here. So during the review at the end of the investigation, step in time box 1, print ready version, the following risks were identified. So firstly, the ambassador may have difficulty spending enough time during the evolutionary solution. Now this is obviously down at time box and team level to discuss how to handle that. So that's their level of risk they can handle, they're empowered to. In addition, the ambassador may not be sufficiently senior enough to decide on the elements. So this might be something that the PM may need to raise. So we'll have a look at that and see how it might work. Les Rollins is business sponsor of the project, but well known things have to change if Amanda is happy about the outcome. So Amanda obviously has quite a lot of input, but Les is the sponsor, so you don't have any other sponsors. And it says that Amanda has no formal role in the project, but obviously she'll feed back through Les what she thinks. So we have to have that. So that's obviously a high level responsibility for a risk at the business side of things. So let's have a look at the statements we've got here from a question point of view and look at the approach from here. So what action should be taken after the review meeting? So the first one says escalate all the risks to the vision and decide the way forward. Well, the first risk isn't really need to go at that level. The team are empowered to do that. So why would you raise them all? And therefore only one area actually that might have an impact on any must, so that's not going to be necessary. The business vision does not need to get involved in all those risks. Mainly probably just going to be the sign off. There might be something to do with the ambassador's seniority enough, but we'll see. Raise the risk with the business sponsor to gain more resources. Well, you don't do that. We have fixed time and cost, and gaining more resources is going to have an impact on that. So we do not do this anyway. So that's not an option either. Invite Amanda as the second business sponsor. Well, we only have one person filling that role, so again, that's not going to be an option either. So the last one had better be. We haven't got any men left. Log what was agreed for each risk in a time box review record. Right. Well, this is exactly what you should be doing. The project email is a bit of a red herring in this case. Not sure that really ought to be there, but anyway, the main thing is that we log what was agreed in the time review records. Remember, the review record is going to be recording, as it says, the time box as we go through. So as these are risks associated with the time box, then we sit them in there first of all. That's why we would log them first of all. So that's what we should be doing. Next review meeting, log those. So the answer there is D. Okay, next question. Which actions should mitigate the risk that the business ambassador may miss sessions during the evolution of the solution? Well, of course, you can always arrange for the ambassador to be able to participate when he or she can. And I think that's what you would do. You would work around that and see how you can get that involvement. You certainly wouldn't miss the ambassador out. You need the ambassador part of the team. This is part of the DSTM perspective. Anyway, let's have a look at more of the statements. Produce a more detailed catalogue specification to reduce the need for ongoing business involvement. Well, this goes against the whole grain. This does not work. We don't want to specify detailed spec up front. The whole point is to have the business involved and evolve the right solution, so that's out. Concentrate more effort into testing the elements of the solution. Well, that shouldn't reduce anything about the ambassador. It's got nothing to do with the ambassador not being around or not. So that's a dud statement in this case, not related to the question. 3. C, I beg your pardon. Forward plan the times when the ambassador can attend specific sessions. Well, I think that's a very good point, actually. That looks like the good answer here at the moment. This is really the way to do it. And we can do that because obviously if we've got a structured time box, we know when things are likely to be happening. So that could be a good approach to take. Finally, shorten the time box schedules. Well, that's exactly what we don't do, so there's no point reading any further. We do not shorten anything in a DSCM time box or DSCM project. So that's a non-answer as well. So let's have a look at the answers we hear were C. So 2C is the right answer here. Number 3. Mitigate the risk the ambassador may be too junior. Now remember, DSCM recommends that you do not swap. An impact to having an agile approach is we have swapping in and out of resources is not a good idea. Drawing beforehand or any time. And remember, it's only one certain elements of the decision areas that the ambassador may be a bit unsure of. And that's very easy. That's very simple to get around. You just get the vision, you take over those particular points. Nothing wrong with doing that. And lo and behold, that's what the first sentence says. Transfer responsibility related to the company branding element of the time box to the business visionary. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So that's just, you're never going to get everybody thinking every single piece of responsibility and requirement you have for a role. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. Usually the business analyst is stepping when the ambassador is unavailable. We don't do that because it's not a business role to start with, and we don't want to replace them anyway. So he can't make the ambassador, the business analyst is not in a position to, because it's a business titled role, it's not a business role. So they're not normally in a position to take over or fill in from the ambassador's point of view. Use the DSDM coach to help with the ambassador understand and fulfill the role. Well, this is about responsibilities, not accountability, so that's the non-starting statement anyway. Change to a more senior ambassador before the start of the investigation, but we don't change, ambassadors in and around during time boxes. You might need to at the end of an increment for all sorts of reasons, but you certainly do not do that during time boxes. This is not the best practice to take either. So the answer there is going to be A. Number 4. Which action should mitigate the risk the business may be unwilling to sign off final solution? Well, remember, if we're going to build incrementally and getting sign off at the end of time boxes, sign off at the end of increments as we release deployable solutions in one form or another, by the time we get to the end, there's going to be very little left for them to sign off anyway. So, agreed formal sign off on a detailed overall spec by Les and Amanda, but that goes against the grain for a complete situation in an agile approach. To evolve the solution, we don't need the detailed spec at the beginning from any form of other. B. Ensure agreement and sign off is achieved at closeout of each of the 3 solution development time boxes. Well, that is really the practice we should be taking, and this is the whole point. So that looks like a good answer so far. C. Use the principle of fixing the deadline to finalise the end of the project so Amanda cannot interfere. Well, this is complete bunkum. This is not what you would do in a project. This is very bad practice in any shape or form anyway. So you would not do that, of course. Right, finally, ensure that the time cost contingency is set on time boxes. There is, but it's 0. Right, so therefore we do not do that. We still ensure that there is a contingency of a could have somewhere in the time box, even if there's a high proportion of must-haves. And sometimes those must-haves could be broken down into smaller requirements at some point. So that's not a good answer either. In fact, we saw the answer was actually B, but just confirming the other 2 are not considered answers either. So the answer there is B. Right, finally, last question, 5. Engage time box 1. Who is most appropriate owner? of the risk that the final sign-off might be difficult to obtain. So who do you think would be having the most clout to get final sign-off from Les, who's going to be sort of got Amanda chasing behind him, whereas Les is the sponsor. The next one down is going to be the visionary. The whole team have got nothing to do with it. The analyst is not in a position to have sign off anything, and the PM normally escalate that, and it should be the responsibility of the business visionary. And this is absolutely correct, and this would be the right answer, the visionary. So hopefully you've managed to get through there reasonably well. Again, if not, go through some of the planning controls of the handbook to help work out and link that to the roles in some aspects as who have responsibility of doing certain activities in there. Otherwise, if you need any more support, then do contact a tutor through the platform to obtain some further clarification or help and advice where necessary. And this is always the point to remember anyway, that there's always that action and that avenue to go if you need help and advice. Thank you.